Welcome back. Welcome to another edition of Nain Shorts, where we talk about training and all the crazy aspects that go along with it. Well, I don't know about crazy, but we kind of do go a little overboard when it comes to training. I mean, um, this past weekend, I was blessed with the opportunity to share some of the stuff that we do with an entire group of people. Dennis Duarte, thank you so very much for that opportunity. It was a great event. It was awesome. Can't wait for the next one. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to stay, family commitments, that sort of thing. But it was a wonderful time. And being able to share with people the ideas in person is something else. It's hard to describe, and the reviews were very positive in reference to that. So, again, Dennis, thank you so very much for the opportunity. All the people involved, thank you very much for giving me the time of day. Um, I really do enjoy doing this, folks, and that's why it's a little bit crazy in the sense of training, because you kind of have to be a little bit nuts to commit yourself to this sort of thing, to grow and expand beyond what was given to you. And that's really what we talk about, is the training part. What are we really thinking about when we go through this process? Now, before I continue, I just want to say apologies for last week not having an episode out. I did come down. I think it was a cold, maybe the flu. I was down, guys. It was bad. But bounced back, recovered, and we're back at it. Now, the seminar was great, but there was a question that came up a lot in reference to the training aspect of it. It's like, what is the key to really advancing what it is that we do? What are we trying to accomplish with what we're training? And that all depends on the individual. It's never going to be a blanket answer for everybody. Some people are training because, hey, your parents got you into it. Some people really enjoy it. Like my good friend Carlos, that man will train every single day, a different art every 3 hours, and love every bit of it. That man is a constant student, and he is a great human being. So Carlos, if I love you, man. You're a great guy. We're gonna get together soon and train while you're out here on the West Coast. But that's definitely the kind of person you want to aspire to as a martial artist, because he's always hungry for more and for learning beyond. It's the humility aspect of it, seen in real time. And I think that's definitely one of the biggest things and biggest hurdles that we have to overcome with ourselves, because we grow in our system, we rank up, we get the titles, we get the recognition, but do we bring that with us on the mat? Do we step up knowing that we are good at what we do? Or, like Carlos, we step up with an empty cup. This man will come in fresh white belt mentality. I'm here to learn. I'm here to take this opportunity to grow. I don't know a thing, and I'm just going to listen to what the person has to say, which is a great mentality to start off with and move into the process of learning. But with that comes a reverence to the instructor. He's the guy, he's the one, he's the person we came to see and that we paid to see and that we're going to spend our entire Saturday listening to. But does that necessarily make what was taught useful? And I know that's a bit of a harsh comment to make, because they're the one. They're the one that we look up to. So, of course, what they say is meaningful, but what is that meaning? If we all have different purposes, different reasons for training and why we got started and why we continue to train, well, then wouldn't it also make sense that we also have our own interpretation of what's being said? We have our own ideas and thoughts in reference to whether or not what was shown even useful to us. And I think that's where we fall a little bit short, because we do show reverence to those ahead of us, to those people that have trained and have become a name within our art. But does that mean that what they showed is going to be useful? It's great, don't get me wrong. Even the stuff that I share. I think it's awesome. But if it doesn't resonate with you, if it doesn't make sense to you, is it even useful? Does it make sense for you to continue doing it if it doesn't work well with who you are as a person and what you're trying to accomplish with your art? And to me, the answer is absolutely not. And many times it's as simple as questioning, does this work for me? And if it does work, how? How would I be able to use it? Today I wanted to talk about the idea that we talked about last time, where you're creating this batter's box, you're creating this idea. And for me, I use the rest of my mechanics. I can start doing this really close and generate power, but I'm utilizing the rest of my hips, I'm utilizing my knees. For some of you, that might not be possible. You might not feel comfortable doing it. Now, I would suggest still training to see how far you can actually generate force while swinging your stick and compressing your body and your mechanics as much as possible. Not for the sake of doing it that way from now on, but simply to explore the limits of your range of motion for your entire body, just to figure out, okay, is that even comfortable? Would I even do that? Nothing wrong with having it in the back burner. Maybe you find yourself in a situation where that type of mobility is needed in that moment and never again. Because again, we cannot train for every possible scenario, so we have to take with us whatever mentality or concepts we can. If your opponent is different, is larger and a lot stronger, would you receive the punch like you would somebody your size or somebody smaller? The things that we learned at the seminar, the things that we were taught by these bigger than life individuals, it worked that day because the person in front of us was letting us practice it, because our partner at that time allowed us to do the technique or the move or the idea, so it worked in that reference. But would it work outside of that? Would it go beyond the classroom and say, okay, this is legitimately useful? Or do we just take it for granted, say, yeah, this is what I was taught, and I know it's going to work because of so-and-so said it would? Is that a proper mentality? And do we even take the time to consider that that's what we're doing? So-and-so said it, so it must be right. But is it? Is it right? Is it right for me, the individual? Is it right for you, the individual? And have we taken the time to really explore beyond what was shown? Because most of the time we just take it at face value, and that's okay if that's all you want to take. You want to spend the weekend with like-minded friends, train, and do nothing beyond that with it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. All I'm asking is, are we aware that that's what we are doing? And if that's not what we want, how do we then go beyond it? How do we elevate it? And sometimes it's as simple as asking why. Asking, why was it shown this way? Would it work for me? And if it doesn't, how can I make it work? Because ultimately, whatever you train the most, that's what's going to come out when you truly need it. And if you just train the moves to work in a certain setting, that setting may never happen. You may never find yourself in a real life situation where that setting is exactly the way that it was in class at a seminar. So in those instances, what do you do? How do you go beyond that? And if we don't train ourselves to start asking these questions, not to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form, but how are we holding ourselves accountable for the things that we learn, the things that we are trying to expand? I've heard say from some of the older practitioners, I don't have to worry about what my teacher thinks because my teacher is dead. They've gone. I'm going to do what I think is right. But at the same time, I have to wonder, so does that mean that you didn't start questioning any of this stuff until your teacher passed away? Hold respect. We can respect people, but it doesn't mean we have to agree with everything that they say. Doesn't mean that whatever it is that they taught us is going to work with our body type. Case in point, Rico, he moves a certain way. I cannot move the way he does. He has to because of the way his body is. I move the way my body is comfortable moving. Does that mean everyone else should? No. I would not like the idea of people trying to imitate the way that I move. We push very hard and very deliberately for our students to move the way they're capable of moving and understand things based on what they're capable of understanding and nothing more. Nudge, guide, and direct here and there, but ultimately they're the ones that are going to have to use this stuff for whatever reason it is that they're training. And we don't get to dictate that. And I think even as instructors, we sometimes forget that not everyone can move the way that we can. So what are we passing on that's going to be more beneficial to that student? And how can we do it better and not get so caught up in our own mentality, in our own ideas and concepts, or just the way that we're comfortable doing things, that we're able to then pass on something more meaningful than just do it this way because that's how I was taught. So this is how I'm going to teach it. Ultimately, we're just trying to get better at what we do for whatever reason that we do it in. And these are the kind of conversations that I believe become very important as instructors, as practitioners, to start wondering what it is that we're actually learning and what is it that we're actually leaving behind to the next generation. Because I don't know about the rest of you, but I would love for this to continue way beyond my years, way beyond myself. And who knows who I'm going to inspire one day to pick up a stick, pick up a weapon, and start training on a regular basis for their own personal reasons, or where they're going to take the martial arts next. Because there's still so much more to learn and so much more to explore. And I just want to keep this going for as long as humanly possible. So, thank you for joining me on another one of Nain's Shorts. I hope this has brought up a few concepts worth discussing, worth advancing, because ultimately you are the most important person in this place. You, the student, you, the person who's willing to listen to what I have to say, and it's you who's going to make something of it. So, thank you for joining me. Till the next one. 3, 2, 1. Cut!